So we're coming at this kind of at a very high level, policy, political level. We're obviously making the case that, you know, a big reason why we've seen the rise of the MAGA movement in the US, why we've seen the rise of the populist far right across Europe, is kind of is driven by people who fell left behind by the last big advances in technology and how that reshaped our economy. So globalization, digitalization. And so making the case that, we need to figure out how we're going to ensure we don't make the same mistakes with this technology. And so we're making the case for this concept of time dividends, where, AI efficiency translates directly into, more time back for employees, better quality of life, shorter work week, and so on. Um, and we've kind of developed a framework which we're pitching at more of an enterprise level, really more kind of progressive, forward-thinking types of organizations who feel like we need to do something on AI. We can't get left behind, but we definitely want to do it. We're not looking to use it as a tool to like lay off 20 or 30% of our people, right? So a lot of the work that we do is about how do we position this as a win-win, as a shared benefit? How do we give people the capacity to learn and to upskill? So not expecting people to kind of do this off the side of the desk on top of an already insane workload. And also talking about how, if AI takes over, to your point, a lot of the kind of efficiency dimensions of productivity, so task speed, task volume, process speed, process volume, then the human value is going to shift more towards effectiveness, towards creativity, adaptability, critical thinking, judgment. And so in that world, again, which I think you articulated in your example, you're not going to maximize people's potential by, grinding out more hours at the desk. You're going to do it by making sure people, you're managing their energy, you're managing their motivation, you're managing their recovery and their well-being. And so using that as a kind of a business case for shorter work weeks, that kind of sums up the approach that we've been trying to take.
Yeah. But what I'm most excited is the human use of tech. So let me connect with that. Tell you a little bit about what I'm working on. So there is the gathering. The gathering it's kind of my it's my legacy. It's my spiritual path. I don't have children. It's my gift to the world. It doesn't make me money, but so far I haven't lost any money on it. Though I've invested a year and a half or more of my work full-time equivalent, but I haven't had to invest money. So that's still not bad for a passion project.
Right.
Uh, but it's been amazing in terms of connecting with people. And the goal there is to bring people together across different change maker movements or better future. Or there's so many languages and so many different movements working on different pieces of the mosaic of building a better future, a wiser society,
Right.
but they're not talking to each other. And oftentimes they use very different languages. So the goal is to use the power that a festival has when people are together in nature for a few days in a space, right? Any kind of a gathering or event has power, but when we're together outdoors in nature, camping and sharing our lives together for even just a few days, that has a really powerful effect of bridging people.
Right. I can see
Uh,
that for sure.
and there is a huge research that we know very well. You can get so far through intellectual blah 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 alignment and talking, but just doing dishes together, doing some work together has an incredible power of bring people together.
Yeah.
You're in Ireland, so there is David Snowden. Do you know David Snowden? I mean, he's in the UK, but he talks about complexity.
Yes, yes, I know him. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm actually I'm full-time based in Toronto now, but I'm from Ireland originally. Yeah.
So I mean, the story that I remember from him, which is so powerful, that he said during the Troubles, they were doing, they were invited or they had an opportunity to do an intervention. And instead of getting people to sit around or talk or whatever, they just took a group from the north and from the south, put them in a refugee camp in Africa to build toilets and basic infrastructure.
Yeah.
And that's it. no like deep facilitation, whatever. People worked together, and of course, conversations came out, and the level of unity, connection, and mutual understanding that came out of that was incomparably higher than any, let's sit and talk our way through this, right?
Right. Yeah,
Because
it makes
just
absolute intuitive sense. Yeah.
just shoulder to shoulder sweating together is such a powerful way of connecting and seeing our shared mutual humanity, which is in any context 99.999% we're the same, right? We've just gotten so good at digging out the 0.0001% that actually separates us. So yeah, that's the idea behind the gathering. And it's it happened twice in Portugal, last year in Czechia and Guatemala, and now I'm kind of building it up as a movement and sharing. So if you know some people in Ireland who could be interested in putting something like this, please introduce me. It's
For sure, yeah. I mean, if you if you send me through a little blurb or something like that, I definitely have
Yeah,
some
I
people
will.
back in Ireland who would spring to mind as being, kind of working at this intersection of environmental issues, economic justice issues, and so on. And certainly, if that's something that you end up, if your other project happens and you end up spending more time here, would be more than happy to be involved with an Ontario version too, for
So
sure.
there is a bunch of people who came at the meetup. I mean, my goal is I don't organize these, I support and I catalyze. That's why I emphasize catalyze. So creating a process to enable people to build the team, and I facilitate and support, not organize. So there will be something happening in Ontario. I will definitely connect you, and there'll be meetups, and I'll be there, but I'm not the one driving it. So
Hmm.
that's cool. And then the other big thing that I'm working on, I mean, so my background is as a technologist. I finished University of Waterloo in Bachelor of Computer Science, and then I got an MBA trying to figure out the rest of the world. That's
Right.
been a 20-year journey of feeling out the matrix. The MBA was really interesting because I finished it and I was like, oh, is that how business works? I'm so not excited to be part of this reality.
Yeah.
But I mentioned that because I mean the lens of computer science and systems is always there with me. And now with AI, I'm really turning my main life attention to this idea of how do we create technology for a wise society.
Hmm.
I think we have clearly, it's amazing, right? In an academic context, good luck doing any kind of experiment with people, right? I'm not even talking medical, like doing a survey, you have to go through a board and get approvals and da da da. And Facebook does experiments on hundreds of millions of people multiple times a day with no oversight,
Hmm.
right? And the
Yes.
whole social media experiment, which I like to summarize as we wanted to sell more ads, we broke democracy. Oops, sorry.
Yes.
Right? That's in fact that's what happened. Except I'm not sure if they're sorry. But that clearly shows the power that these technologies have over shaping society. And I think this means now that there is no longer the technological field no longer has the is able to wave the flag of, oh, technology is neutral, not our fault, somebody else should look at it. Clearly, the way we design technologies, and because I have a computer science background, I also really see how the underlying protocols, standards, the way that they're defined, how it drives and shapes business and everything that comes on top of that, right?
Yes.
At a simple example that everybody understands from their daily experience, email is an open protocol. So you can email to anybody anywhere. Chats are all closed, and you have to talk to WhatsApp people on WhatsApp, right? And it's created a very different dynamic. Even though email has become more and more captured by a few of the majors, still it's an open protocol. So working on that, and the thing that I'm focusing on this year is starting a startup called the Coherence Company, where the idea is to create a new kind of effectively online event format where, for example, like our conversation here, uh, it's great, it's interesting to us, but it's also probably interesting to many other people.
Hmm.
People who want to know you or people who want to know me. So there would be value for sharing it online. And
Right.
I've started doing this because I've been networking a lot for the gathering, but just generally networking on LinkedIn. I've added 5,000 people over the last 3 years. I've had 400 conversations like this, which have been amazing, as has this one been. So inspiring, so many great people doing great stuff. And a year and a bit ago, I was like, oh my God, I've had 200 conversations with some of the most amazing people on earth. Where did they all go? I mean, some I remember, but it's all gone, right? Past
Yeah,
this.
yeah. How can you capture those
So I
insights? Yeah.
started publishing them on YouTube. I'm happy to publish this one too if you're up for it. And then I was like, well, it's not about Victor talking to people, it's about everybody talking to everybody and sharing this and building this collective intelligence, collective inspiration. So started working on that, and that's the idea that people have a conversation. It'll probably be, to make it easier, it will be through our own UI, which I then publish to social media. And some people will watch them, but nobody's going to watch hundreds or thousands of conversations. However, the AI will happily watch all of them or listen to all of them and
Yes.
help you find the people that are working and that are relevant to you. So really, what I'm really interested in is how do we create systems that enable humans and AI to be wiser together?
Hmm. Yeah, I love it. And I mean, I think it also ties into the point that you were looking to maybe discuss at the outset, which was, I think if you look at the history of trade unionism, the most successful trade union achievements haven't come from technological resistance, but they've come from being able to kind of, you know, put forward a compelling vision for how technology can be integrated in a way that improves people's lives, and then using collective action to kind of drive that. And I think the fear always is that by the time trade unions kind of with their bureaucracy and with their kind of conflicting interests figure out what's our vision for how we can create a better world with AI rather than kind of, getting small wins to block it or delay it along the way. Often the conversation has just moved on. And I think that's particularly true in this modern era where, as we all know, the pace of change is just so incredibly fast. And I think that's been one challenge that the trade union movement has really struggled with. Um,
Can you say it again to make sure that I understood? The challenge is that they're not proactive or fast enough in creating a narrative for how to adopt new technology. Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, correct. I think that the processes and the structures of trade unions are, inherently they're, you know, if you look at it through a positive lens, they set out to be democratic or at least to tick the box of democracy, but they often lead to so many layers of bureaucracy that by the time the trade unions have kind of figured out their position and their strategies, enterprise and governments have kind of moved, way down the road. And then you're backtracking and you're reacting and you're kind of and I think ending up defaulting to critiquing, the pace or critiquing the way things are being done rather than kind of actually trying to shape it out front. Um,
I love that because that brings to me an angle to what we're proposing that I hadn't. It's it's subtly there because for me also, I mean, my life goal is to enable and create more bottom up emergent collaborative structures to become much more effective and take responsibility for more and more of society in the world. I mean, I understand we need top down, but I think we're way overinvested in top-down structures, whilst our bottom-up community, trade, democratic, participatively democratic systems are ossifying. So this idea that the challenge is that the democratic, as he said in the trade union context, organizations are suffering because they're not able to create dialogue quickly enough,
Yes,
create
yes. And I
engagement.
mean the
So
same
please,
principle
sorry,
is
because this
true
is important
for,
for me. Let me just finish this thought. So if this idea, this is very much what I'm trying to create, because now, rather than having to do deliberation, if you have thousands of people, all of this, instead we can have the voice of everybody talks with a few people in small clusters, and then the AI facilitates and the computers facilitate the emergence of a shared voice, will enable to create the emergence of a shared voice much faster than the old deliberative
yes,
structures.
agree. Yeah, I mean,
Brilliant.
and whether trade unions are the vehicle or not, I think it doesn't, the point for me is that we need a more nimble, effective form of, collective action, or even, it's a
Yes.
dirty word these days, but kind of populist movements. Um, if we have any chance of kind of countering the oligarchy's direction for the economy. And part of that is that, the challenges that I described for trade unions, they're the same challenges being faced by institutions like the European Union and by many nation states, where the reality is that many of these large technology companies are more powerful than the democratic structures that we have in place. And so regulation has just become so difficult. I do need to be on another call here
Yeah.
at 30
Uh,
minutes past, but I've really enjoyed speaking to you and would love to kind of keep chatting and see
yeah.
what
Yeah. Thank
opportunities there
you.
might be for us to do something together.
Yeah, and please send me the link to your book if you haven't, or like if you have a post on LinkedIn, I'd love to reshare.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do
Uh,
that. No problem.
and
Absolutely.
maybe is it okay if we publish this public conversation that we
Yeah,
had?
sure. Happy for you to do that. Yeah.
Amazing, wonderful. Well, thanks so much. This last part was super enlightening for me. This lens, because I felt it instinctively, but I hadn't enunciated it. So thank you.
Yes. Lovely to meet you, Victor. Take care. We'll speak soon.
Thank you.